So I mentioned on Sunday's podcast that we have probably spent less time talking about Michigan State this season than in any other season we've ever done this. I have a theory that I think explains why. The reason I think is because we tend to talk about big brands that are great or big brands that are disasters or ranked teams or surprisingly good teams or camel fighting. And
There we go.
Michigan State has been none of that for most of the season, been unranked since December 5th. So the Spartans haven't really been great enough to demand attention, but also not bad enough to demand attention. They're just sort of operating off the national radar. But it is worth noting that Michigan State won its seventh straight game Tuesday night, 69-65 at Wisconsin. So the Spartans are now 12-4 overall, 4-1 in the Big Ten, tied with Purdue atop the Big Ten standings. Deadleg, give me your evaluation of Michigan State through 16 games.
The fan base doesn't want Tom Izzo fired.
That's good. It's a good place to start.
It's a healthy place to start. Yeah, Michigan State has not lost since December 4th. It had a loss to Northwestern. At that point, it was 5-4. Kind of heading toward no man's land in terms of relevancy, but been able to turn it around here. And then the win at Wisconsin is what is going to potentially get Michigan State back into the rankings. Sparty has to play Friday at Illinois, get a win there to get to 13-4. MSU will be ranked when the polls refresh next week. We'll see if it can do that. It's also, when you look at its profile, not just in terms of NCAA tournament stuff, although that to an extent as well, but also the team itself, there's not a ton there. Like, it doesn't rank top 35 on either end of the floor. There's not a star. And I think this is what Izzo was expecting, to be honest. It has good players, but no one on this team is averaging north of 14 a night. It does have 4 scorers in double figures. Tyson Walker's at just shy of 14 a game. Same with Joey Hauser. And then AJ Hogard, who has been quite good, to be honest, as a lead guard for this team. He's at 6.5 assists per game. And then Malik Hall at 10.9. Those are guys in double figures. And against Wisconsin, to win the way that they were able to win, really good from the foul line, 16 of 17 from the foul line overall, shot well from 3-point range. Hauser went for 20. Hogard had another really good game distributing. They've got just a solid team. And Wisconsin did not have Tyler Wall. So if he's available in this game, maybe Sparty doesn't get it, but he wasn't. And so MSU did wind up getting done because Wisconsin was shorthanded. It was a very good competitive game. It just so happened that this was happening alongside a couple of other really good, interesting games there. So it got a little bit lost in the mix. But yeah, when we look up in the greater hierarchy of the Big Ten right now, Michigan State, maybe somewhat quietly. Again, it's Illinois and then host Purdue, host Rutgers, at Indiana. There's a lot coming. There's probably going to be some losses that get added here. But Michigan State can be in that mix. If we're going to put Purdue on its own tier right now, which I think we should, I think that's entirely fair. Michigan State could be in that mix with Rutgers, Wisconsin, Ohio State, Illinois. Iowa's getting better. There's a lot to still be figured out with this league. And the conference actually ranks second overall in net in KenPom. So it is a good league, but the pieces are still jumbled. Like, if you were to ask us to tier out the conference at this point, I actually don't. Weird as it is, Parrish, January 11th, it's hard to do that other than to say Purdue is on its own tier at the top. Minnesota is clearly on its own tier at the bottom, maybe just above Minnesota. You could say I want to put Nebraska there. Illinois did walk into Pinnacle on Tuesday night. What else is new? But aside from that, even like a team like Northwestern's 3-1 in the league, 12-3 overall, and it could be in that second or third tier eventually. So the Big Ten is still providing a lot of mystery. I like that. I'm on record saying that plenty of times before. I like not really having a true sense of what a league is when we get to this time of year, because I want to see the games. I want to see how the teams respond. I want to see how things shake out. Michigan State could be anywhere from the second best team to, I think right now, the floor is probably the floor. I think the floor is probably 6 in this league for this team. I don't know if they'll have an alpha absolutely emerge, but Izzo's getting it done with a bunch of just quality players, and to no surprise, they're pretty damn good again, and finally riding their longest win streak in quite some time.
To your point about Purdue being on a tier by itself, Kim Palm currently projects the Boilermakers to win the league by 3 games. That's a lot for a league like this. So it does appear, at least from that perspective, Purdue is in a tier by itself. And after that, yeah, throw Michigan State and 3 or 4 other teams in there, and we'll see how it shakes out. But obviously, the Spartans are trending in the right direction. They've got it's funny to look at their big wins. It's Kentucky, Villanova, Michigan, Wisconsin. It's just like
I know. I looked. Yeah, I saw
bunch
that.
of big names, like nice programs that are not having great seasons. I know Wisconsin sort of was perfectly fine until Wall got sidelined, and you know, ask Creighton how that goes when you lose a key player like that. So, but Oregon down relative to expectations, Michigan down relative to expectations, and then Villanova, by the way, just lost to DePaul.
Yeah, but shouts to DePaul. First time since 2008. So good on DePaul. Villanova, I said it on Sunday, GP. It's not going to the tournament. And it's going to be, it is weird. Like when you really look at a lot of the bigger brands, bigger schools, bigger programs, right? They're just having down years or weirdly.
North Carolina, Duke,
Kentucky, like a lot of these teams. And Nova's just not going to, it's just not going to the tournament there. But in all seriousness, credit to DePaul, home win. Got it out since 2008, my man. 2008. Going that long without getting one, they finally peel it off. So I'm glad you brought that up because they did. DePaul, we like to poke fun at DePaul in a loving way, but they deserve genuine shouts for getting the 18 years, man. 18
years. 18 years.
Yeah, well, I don't even
know if you're allowed to say that anymore.
Yeah, exactly. DePaul's win was the
I think I just canceled myself.
You did.
I apologize. Let me go ahead and apologize. I'm going to go ahead and apologize. I didn't mean to quote that. It just anytime I hear 18 years together, that I immediately go, that's what pops into my head and millions of others.
That's correct. It was a 22-game winning streak Villanova owned over DePaul that finally got snapped. January 3rd of 2008 was the last time the Blue Demons got it done. So credit to them. We somehow made the flawless back and forth from Michigan State in the Big Ten to DePaul Blue Demons basketball.
Well, I do think I can circle this back to Michigan State. So we devolve perhaps into a conversation about these big programs struggling. Guess who's not really? Michigan State. They are about what we thought they were going to be, and they are on track to make the NCAA tournament for the 25th consecutive year. I hope.
Oh, man. That's just amazing. And Kansas is even longer, but 25 straight years. Yeah. Are you about to say, I hope MSU fans realize how good they have it right now?
Yeah, just don't ever take that for granted. I mean, like Duke just missed the NCAA tournament 2 years ago. Kentucky probably, or at least possibly about to miss it for the second time in a 3-year span. Basically, the only things you can rely on over decades is Tom Izzo, whoever's coaching Kansas, and Gonzaga.
Yeah.
That's it. Right now, Kansas on track to make it for the 33rd straight season, which is incredible. But Kansas is one of the best programs in the sport and have literally been coached by nothing but Naismith Memorial Hall of Famers. It's with Larry Brown, Roy Williams, Bill Self, and here we are. It's outrageous. The way that program has been operating. And then Gonzaga is about to make it for the 24th straight season. And they're coached by a future Naismith Memorial Hall of Famer. And that's it. Everybody else has these bad years sometimes, but not Michigan State. And I don't mean to don't just life ain't always going to be like that. So enjoy it while it is.